Okay, today I wanted to talk about pondering and prayer and meditation and just how all of those things have kind of been working together in my life. So, one of the things I have been interested in lately is meditating. And meditating kind of has a specific connotation to it. People have a specific image in their mind when they hear the word meditating. And it has been really interesting for me. I have been learning more about meditating when I was subbing long-term in the special ed room that I was in. The special ed room that I was in the middle school, most of the kids had emotional issues. They weren't actually physical problems that they were having. It was more learning to regulate their emotions. And so one of the aides in there, she suggested that we try meditating and having a lesson on meditating. And I didn't know that much about meditating. I had never done it before. And so I started looking into it and found out all kinds of information that I had no idea about. And we did it as a practice in our class for a few of the weeks that I was there. And I really enjoyed it. It's a little different if you've never done it before, but I wanted to explain a little bit about what it is and why I feel like it's super effective. So first of all, when you hear meditating, I think a lot of people think of, you're sitting cross-legged and breathing deeply, and maybe they're saying weird stuff or whatever, which, that is a type of meditation, but I don't think people realize that there's a lot of different things that are considered meditation and fall under the umbrella of meditation and aren't just sitting in silence with your legs crossed, kind of trying to clear your mind. So the first thing I learned was that there's at least 4 different types of meditation. So there's they call it focus meditation, where you focus on your breathing. And if you've never done that before, it is awesome. Like, I don't think you should knock it. And I think a lot of times people hear meditation and they're like, oh, that's weird and I don't want to do that. And it seems so unnatural. And it's like, it actually, they have shown that deep breathing regulates your nervous system. It decreases your heart rate. It reduces your blood pressure. It helps you regulate your body. And so just because you've never done it before doesn't mean that you shouldn't try that as a way to kind of reduce stress in your life. And as I'm going to show, also increase your connection to your Heavenly Father. So that's the first way, is focus and breathing meditation. Another one is movement. So sometimes if you're walking or out in nature or something like that, that can be considered meditation. Because what meditation is a practice that you have that reduces your stress level and allows you to kind of clear your mind and just be more whole. Another one type of meditation is spiritual, which is prayer, which a lot of people are familiar with and is awesome. And I want to tell you about some of the different ways that I have incorporated meditation into my prayer that has made a huge difference. And then the last one is visualization, which I have also found to be really incredible, especially when it comes to your mornings and just visualizing what you're going to do that day and what spirit you're going to do that with. So those are all different types of meditation, which is really cool, because I think, sometimes we kind of hear the word meditation and we have something specific in mind, and it turns out that's not the case. There's a lot of different ways to meditate, and you probably have some practices that are considered meditation, and there's some ways you can make it more effective in your life. So one of the things that I was teaching the kids in middle school that I had learned is that meditation, the point of meditation is to connect your mind and your body. And, being a religious person, I would say your spirit. And so I think that's really amazing to think about, that you have this practice of stillness that allows your body and your spirit and your mind to connect in a way that will help you be a more effective disciple of Jesus Christ. So scientifically, they've done all kinds of studies on meditation. This is why they use it with kids who have problems with emotional regulation. And I didn't know all of this. And it was so awesome to learn this because it actually is super beneficial to people who don't have as many emotional problems. Like just a regular person can benefit from meditation. So these are the benefits. It improves focus and attention. It decreases anxiety and depression. It can help with addiction, and it can decrease pain. So all of these things are benefits of having these practices of quiet stillness where you kind of decrease your stress in your life. One of the things I read that I liked was it helps you practice being calm in easy conditions first before like stressful events happen. And that's what's so cool about meditation when you do it regularly, is it will decrease your stress over your entire life, not just in that moment, but as other stressful events happen, you'll have learned these tools about how to be calm and those sorts of things. So anyway, I've been really impressed with meditation, and it's something that's been on my mind and my heart. And so I looked into LDS meditation because I feel like if you are interested in meditation, you can find ways to like guided meditations anywhere. Like on YouTube, you can just type it in guided meditation and they'll have 5-minute guided meditation or 10-minute. And I, like I said, I've done those in my classroom. I have found those to be helpful. And there's a lot of parts of it that I really like. One of them is the deep breathing part. Breathing in for a certain amount of time and breathing out through your nose and those sorts of things, like I said, has been proven to decrease stress and just make you feel calm and peaceful. And so I love that. And also another part that I love is in some guided meditations, they'll teach you how to like reduce the stress in different parts of your body. Cause some of us are more tense in our shoulders or different parts of our body, and they'll help you release the stress in all different parts of your body, which I think is another really helpful thing to learn. But the thing that was missing for me was the spiritual component. And so I wanted to find some meditation that was connected to my spiritual tradition. And so I looked up LDS people who are into meditation, and one of the names that's important in that space her name is Brooke Snow, and she does all kinds of work with meditation and just your spiritual life. And so I wanted to try it out because I've talked about having my appointment with the Lord in the morning, and I had a spiritual experience earlier this week or last week where I just felt like the Lord was calling me to a higher way of living. And an important part of it was my appointment with the Lord. And getting up early is something that has not been easy for me, I would say, most of my life. And so sometimes when I make these goals to get up early, it feels like really overwhelming and really daunting because I'm just like, I have failed so much of that in the past, and I don't think that's something I can do. But anyway, when I had this experience where I felt like the Lord really wanted me to make time for this in my life, I just said, okay, like I'm willing to do it. And so I set an alarm for 5:00 on my phone. And I haven't been doing it very many days, but like one of the first things that I do is, I've talked about before, I read my scriptures the very first thing when I get on my phone. And then I wanted to try this meditation because something that has been in my mind is prayer, and specifically listening in prayer. When you think about prayer, we do a lot of asking and a lot of talking. And sometimes if we listen, it's just kind of casually at the end if we have time, right? And so, I just wanted to try it out and just sit in this place where it's like, just, whatever you have for me, I would like to hear, and just kind of be in the presence of the Lord, right? Rather than just always saying things and just seeing what he has to say, and just trying to make more time for listening. And so typically when you do these guided meditations, usually you're like sitting up and, quiet, dark space or whatever. But since I have this habit of reading my scriptures in my bed, which is not the best, but anyway, I was like, well, I just want to try meditating also laying down, because that's like the most relaxed position you can be in. And the whole point of meditation is to relax you. And so, I pulled up one of, Brooke Snow has some free meditations you can try. And so I just picked her basic one, which is just basically like to kind of calm your breathing. And then she gives you several minutes of just instrumental music for you to just be in that space where you're quiet and breathing evenly and just relaxed, so the Spirit can speak to you. And it was really awesome. I really enjoyed it, and I felt like I got so much out of it. And in fact, when the music was over, I just felt like, wait, I'm not done. Like, I need more of this. I want longer time to like think about this. And the other piece that that Brooke Snow talks about is visualization, which is a part of meditation. And she talked about Olympians, and she said, lots of times when people think about visualization, when you're talking about Olympians, is that they're visualizing themselves on the podium, getting their medal. And she said, that's not what they're visualizing. What they're visualizing is doing their sport perfectly, correctly. And she said that is kind of part of what you should be doing when you're visualizing, meditating in the morning, is you should be visualizing your day. And this is something that Elder Bednar also talks about. He calls it the spiritual creation of your day. And he talks specifically about prayer. And I can link the talk where he talks about this in 2008 in conference. He talked about, in the morning, your goal in prayer should be to spiritually create your day. And so when you connect this with visualization, you should go throughout your entire day and just imagine yourself doing those things, right? And doing it in the right spirit, being kind to your kids, and how you're going to react if somebody upsets you, and what you're going to spend your time doing, and those sorts of things, so that when it's time to do those things, your brain can recall it and be like, oh, I know what to do in this situation. I'm going to be eating foods that are going to fuel my body, and I'm going to read my scriptures, and I'm going to pray, and I'm going to connect with my Heavenly Father in these, and not just make them a to-do list item. And so as part of my meditation in the morning, I did that, and it was really powerful to just imagine my day and think about how I can best fulfill who I'm supposed to be that day, and what kinds of things I should be doing, and the kinds of ways I should be acting towards people. And I can see how over time this practice could really transform your life. And that's something that Brooke Snow talks about, is she's like, I'm a completely different person after implementing this practice of quiet stillness. And one thing that I've thought about as far as stillness goes is President Ballard, before he passed away, it was something that was, he talked a lot about, and he felt strongly about, was making moments of silence and peace and stillness. Because you think about President Ballard, and he grew up in a completely different time, without all of these distractions, and without all of the noise and a constant phone and dinging and social media and all of that. And how it used to be was, you did have a lot of time of quiet and stillness. You would go outside and just feel the presence of the Lord, right? Because there was nothing else to distract you from it. And the way that our lives are now, like, that doesn't happen. You don't have moments of quiet unless you intentionally like turn something off or put your phone on silent or something like that. And so you kind of have to carve out these spots nowadays. And I think that's why meditation is a powerful practice, because it's you showing the Lord, you're saying, I'm ready to listen, and I have made this space for you to talk to me. Whereas before it kind of was able to happen a little more naturally just throughout the course of our day, doing chores outside or whatever other things they had that are not part of our lives anymore. And so I'm really grateful for the Lord and helping me kind of in my growth and just helping me see other ways I can connect with him. You know, I feel like it's like Elder Kieran was talking about how he's relentlessly pursuing me. He wants me to be close to him. And I think it's incredible that we have these practices and these tools that we can use to draw closer to him. And so, yeah, that's what I want to talk about today.